We begin with a CTV News exclusive this morning. CTV News caught up with Prime Minister Stephen Harper's former Chief of Staff early this morning on his jog through the streets of Ottawa.
I'm going to, first of all, give my submissions to the Ethics Commissioner. She's going to look into this, and I think I can stand behind everything I did. I made some mistakes, living with the consequences of those mistakes, but I believe I can account for my actions. I think that's the right forum for it.
This is the first time Nigel Wright spoke to reporters since he resigned last week. The PMO said Wright wrote a $90,000 check to Senator Mike Duffy to cover improperly claimed living expenses. Wright wouldn't explain the gift to Duffy, but insists he will give his submissions to the Ethics Commissioner. There are two more job vacancies in Toronto Mayor Rob Ford's office this morning. Ford's press secretary and his deputy resigned from the mayor's office yesterday. Ford wouldn't discuss the circumstances surrounding those resignations, but did take time to apologize to reporters for derogatory remarks about the media.
I sincerely apologize to each and every one of you. I understand you have a job to do. I think the word has been bothering me a lot. So I know we agree and disagree on some issues most of the time. It's going to some of the time, but we have to move on.
Over the weekend, Ford used his weekly radio show to attack the media as, quote, a bunch of maggots. Realtors from across Eastern Ontario will discuss the key priorities for the year today with the new president of the Ontario Real Estate Association. Phil Dorner is in Ottawa to talk with realtors. Topping the list of key issues is consumer protection, including strong support for setting up a province-wide grow-op registry. That would allow home buyers to see if a home was previously used as a grow-op. And joining us live in the newsroom to talk more about the support for a province-wide grow-op registry, Pat Verge from the Ontario Real Estate Association. Morning, Pat. How are you?
Good morning, Kurt. Very well, thanks.
The very important meetings that are taking place in Perth, actually, this morning, right? Tell me, is it necessary? Have we reached the point where we need a registry for homes that have been former grow-ops?
We reached that point a long time ago.
Really?
There's so many of them. We've been told that you average about 400 to 500 in Ottawa alone at any given point.
No kidding.
So all these homes are virtually destroyed in many cases and need to be completely redone.
You know, you'll note the surprise in my voice, and that's one of the reasons for the registry itself.
Yes, absolutely, because we don't know. As the realtor, the last thing you want to do is sell a young couple a house that was used as a former grow-up, and 6 months later they call you saying there's things growing out of the walls.
Right. When
the mold starts appearing.
Right, because if they're major grow-up homes, they have problems that are inherent with them, right?
Oh, yeah. It can cost $100 to $150, $150,000 rather, to remediate a former grow-up.
You recently had some stats about this sort of activity. 93% of Ontarians want to know if the home they're about to purchase was a former grow-up. I'd like to know who the other 7% are.
Probably the ones growing it.
Yeah, maybe. 1 in 4 Ontarians have actually seen or know of homes in their own neighborhood that have been used as a grow-up.
Oh, as a realtor, we've seen them in every single neighborhood in Ottawa, from city to country, everywhere.
So for the most part, until you recognize it or somebody else recognizes it, you really have no idea.
No, you don't, and you have nowhere to go to try to find out the information, which is why we're asking the province to, you know, support a registry and get it done.
Have you seen situations where everybody is unaware and then later there have been circumstances?
Absolutely. There's all kinds of homeowners who have nightmare stories about that.
Really?
Yeah.
So surprising, the amount of homes that have been used in this.
It's amazing, and it's very scary, and it's criminal activity.
Right.
You know.
Pat, I want to thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of those meetings, very important meetings going on in Perth.
I will.
Pat Verge from the Ontario Real Estate Association this morning. Former Prime Minister Jean Chrétien was caught on camera making a splash in North Carolina.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Chrétien learned how to wakeboard with instructor Ty Luckett of KiteHatteras.net in Buxton, North Carolina. Chrétien also started to learn the techniques for kite surfing, but the lack of wind made it impossible to try. And we're talking about the lack of wind on the water.